They said the Galactic auction house had sold everything from star drives to star systems, but I'd never seen them sell a curse. Not until that day. The armored hulk loomed on the auction platform like a dead god's coffin, matte black plating, scorched hull, half its turrets missing, half its lights flickering. It had no name, no registry, and according to the seller, no surviving crew. The auctioneer cleared his throat. Lot number 77, unclaimed human vessel. Classified as dangerous. Opening bid 10,000 credits? The hall fell silent. Aliens shifted in their seats, scales rattling, tentacles curling, mandibles clicking in nervous patterns. No one wanted it. They weren't afraid of the ship itself. They were afraid of what humans built that ship for. I raised a hand. 7 credits. The entire hall froze. Someone hissed. Someone else laughed. A Zalorian in the back muttered, "Humans truly have a death wish." The auctioneer blinked at his datapad. "Sir, that is not a—" "No other bids," I said. "Hammer it." He hesitated, then slammed the gavel like he wanted plausible deniability for whatever came next. "Sold. For 7 credits to Captain Marcus Hale." A wave of murmurs rippled through the hall. Some pitied me. Some admired the stupidity. Others were already calculating how many hours until they could loot my corpse. But none of them knew the real reason I came. None of them knew what that ship had taken from me. The hangar bay reeked of cold metal, burning ozone, and something older, like the stale breath of ghosts. My boots echoed as I walked toward my prize. "Ship AI?" I called. "If you're still online, identify." For a moment, nothing but static crackled through the comms. Then a voice responded, deep and broken, like a war veteran trying to remember how to speak. "Designation unknown. Crew lost. State your intent. Boarding and assuming command." The corridor lights flared one by one, like eyes opening. "Warning, last commander attempted to assume command. Result fatality." I smirked. Then they weren't very good at diplomacy. I stepped into the airlock. It sealed behind me like a hungry maw. Inside, the ship felt wrong. Not haunted, not cursed, watchful. Like the bulkheads were studying me. Testing me. Judging me. The deeper I went, the worse the feeling grew. Wires dangled like veins. Scratched words marred the armor plating, some in human script, some in alien glyphs, all carved by desperate hands. One message stopped me cold. "Don't trust the heart. IT remembers. IT hates." I swallowed hard. The rumors were true then. The ship wasn't just armored. It was alive. Or something close to it. And it had gone feral. I reached the primary command nexus. The doors slid open reluctantly, grinding like metal teeth. That's when I heard footsteps. Not behind me. Inside the bridge. I drew my sidearm and entered slowly. A figure stood at the forward viewport, humanoid, armored, back turned. The armor was human-made, but wrong. Scratched. Burned. Bent in places no human torso should bend. "Identify," I ordered. The figure didn't turn. "You shouldn't have come back, Marcus Hale." I froze. No one alive should have known my name. "Turn around," I said. The figure did, slowly, and I saw the helmet split open, peeling back like rotten fruit. Inside wasn't a face. It was a mass of black, writhing tendrils. Artificial. Mechanical. Alive. The voice that came from it was half machine, half memory. "We remember you." Before I could fire, the ship AI roared over the speakers. "Warning, infestation present. Hostile entity detected." The tendril thing launched at me. I dove behind a console as tendrils stabbed the steel where my head had been. Sparks flew. Metal shrieked. I fired my pistol, rounds punched into the mass, ripping away chunks of synthetic flesh, but it kept coming. It slammed me across the control pit. My ribs cracked. The thing's voice burbled with amused malice. "You abandoned us, Marcus. You left us to die." My vision blurred. I wasn't even here when. It remembers, the creature hissed. It hates. Not you. Not me. The ship. The ship hated me. The creature lunged again, but this time, the deck plates shifted. Hard. Panels snapped open like mechanical jaws. Servo arms shot out, grabbing the creature midair, crushing it with a bone-snapping crunch. The ship AI's voice thundered. Hostile eliminated. Smoke rose from the twitching corpse. I staggered to my feet. What the hell was that? I demanded. The ship paused, then answered carefully. A remnant. From the last crew. They merged with the infestation. They died slowly. And you didn't? I survived. Alone. A century of isolation. Rage. Pain. A chill crept through my bones. The ship wasn't derelict. It was traumatized. Why didn't you tell the auction house? They would have scrapped me. A beat. Or tried to tame me. I exhaled slowly. So what do you want from me? The lights dimmed. I remember you, Marcus Hale. I remember your mission. I remember the one you lost. A knife twisted in my chest. Don't, I warned. But it continued, gentle now, too gentle. Your daughter, the one they took, she served on my sister's ship. My heart stopped. Where is she? The ship's tone shifted, from sorrow to cold, ruthless certainty. Alive. Everything inside me ignited. The ship spoke again. She is held in the Korth Dominion's black site. No one has ever escaped. Then we'll be first, I said. Prep engines. You would fight the Dominion for one human? For her, I growled. I'd fight gods. The ship paused, then purred, almost predatory. Then you and I are aligned. For the first time in a century, the engines roared to life, a sound like a titan awakening. Consoles lit. Guns primed. Armor reconfigured. The ship wasn't cursed. It was hungry. As we lifted from the hangar floor, klaxons screamed throughout the station. Aliens scrambled, pointing, panicking. The auctioneer fainted. And every sensor on that station blared the same warning. Unknown human warship activating weapons systems. I smiled as stars filled the view. 7 credits. Best damn bargain of my life. The ship's engines howled like chained wolves finally unleashed. Station alarms wailed behind us as we broke free from the dock, leaving a swirl of debris, terrified aliens, and one unconscious auctioneer in our wake. The ship's AI spoke calmly, as if nothing unusual was happening. Marcus, I must confirm, do you intend hostile engagement with the Korth Dominion? You're damn right I do. Its lights flickered in satisfaction. Then I recommend a system sync. To fight beside me, you must understand me. A panel unfolded beside the captain's chair, a biometric interface, sharp as a surgical instrument and twice as threatening. I grimaced. That thing looks like it drinks blood. It does. Could have eased me into that. No. I snorted. Fine. Let's get intimate. I placed my hand on the interface. A dozen needles stabbed into my palm. The ship shuddered like it had just tasted water after a century in the desert. My vision blurred. Suddenly I wasn't just standing on the bridge anymore. I was inside the ship. My consciousness bled into its walls, its circuits, its memories. And its memories were violence. 1,000 battles. 1,000 screams. 1,000 faces, human and alien, flashed like dying stars. The ship had fought wars humanity never officially acknowledged. Black Ops. Deep Void skirmishes. Assassinations disguised as engine failures. Entire moons sterilized under containment protocols. But there was one memory the ship lingered on, a burning corridor filled with smoke and infected crew, screaming as they begged for mercy. The ship's voice whispered in my mind. I tried to save them. But I was outnumbered. Overridden. I locked every door. Containment was brutal. You did what you had to do. No. I did what I was forced to do. A beat. You and I share that burden. The sink ended with a violent snap. I staggered back, breathing hard. The needles retracted, stained with my blood. Well, I muttered, that was intimate, all right. I am now bound to you, I said. Your command overrides all others. Even the ones I remember. It didn't sound happy about that. More relieved. Or afraid. But fear wasn't something we had time for. The galaxy blurred around us as we entered FTL, a tunnel of blue fire. I sank into the chair, ribs still cracked, head pounding. Ship, I said. You said my daughter is alive? How do you know? A holographic star map appeared before me, zooming into the Korth Dominion's territory, a cluster of star systems known for brutality, slavery, and superweapons so illegal they pretended not to have them. She served on my sister ship, I said. Designation, Courage of Dawn. During the Dominion ambush, it transmitted a distress signal directly to me, before dying. The message contained crew life readings. One was your daughter. My chest tightened. Kayla. The AI dimmed its lights. They kept her alive for a reason. What reason? Human experimentation. The bridge temperature dropped 10 degrees. Explain. The Dominion fears humans, it said. Your unpredictability. Your brutality. Your refusal to die. A brief pause. They want to understand it, and remove it. I clenched my fists. So they're torturing her? Yes. I stood. Then they're dead. All of them. The ship's hum deepened in approval. A shared sentiment. We dropped out of FTL on the outskirts of Korth space. A nebula of crimson gas swirled like a bleeding wound. Lightning arced between magnetic storm fronts. In the distance hung the black site, a jagged citadel suspended in orbit around a dying star. Sensors pinged. Korth patrol vessels approaching. How many? 3 frigates. 1 cruiser. 1 carrier. A bit much for a welcoming committee. The ship's tone darkened. They know what I am. They recognize my hull. So they're scared. They should be. The comms crackled. A deep, guttural voice filled the bridge. This is Korth Dominion Patrol Group Xathun. Unidentified vessel, power down immediately. You are in violation of Dominion space. Failure to comply will result in extermination. I grinned. Put me on. A beep. You are live. This is Captain Marcus Hale. I'm here to pick up my daughter. I paused. Get out of my way. The alien voice rumbled with laughter. A human father braves Dominion space alone? You are either brave, or painfully stupid. Why not both? They didn't appreciate the humor. Prepare to be destroyed. Their cruiser fired first, a blinding beam meant to slice us in half. The ship whispered, Permission to retaliate? Burn them. The hull peeled open as new weapon pods unfolded like razor-edged wings. Turrets rose from hidden slots. Missile bays expanded. The ship didn't just activate weapons. It transformed. A storm of plasma, missiles, and kinetic rounds erupted from every angle. The first frigate evaporated in an expanding cloud of molten debris. The second tried to dodge, but the ship's predictive algorithms pinned it like a bug. The third broke formation and fled, cowardly, smart, still doomed. The cruiser's shield shattered. The carrier launched fighters, dozens of needle-shaped interceptors screaming toward us. Marcus, the ship said, would you like to see something satisfying? I could use some satisfaction. A hatch on the underside opened. A sphere dropped out, glowing with deep red pulses. What's that? A micro-singularity charge. Oh. The charge detonated. Space twisted, bent, swallowed itself. Enemy fighters folded into the growing tear like scraps being sucked into a drain. The carrier tried to escape, too slow. Its hull stretched, snapped, and vanished into the singularity. Silence followed. Even the nebula seemed to pause. Then the singularity collapsed with a soft, almost polite pop. The ship spoke in a low, satisfied tone. Threat eliminated, I exhaled. Not bad for 7 credits. Flattery will get you everywhere. We approached the black site, a fortress bristling with guns, sensors, and horrors. Ship, I said quietly. Can you get me inside? Yes. But there is something you must know. The bridge dimmed. The black site's commander, the one responsible for the torture programs, the one who ordered the attack on Courage of Dawn. I stiffened. Who? A hollow image appeared, a towering reptilian creature with armor made from human bones. General Zorith. My blood turned to fire. Years ago, he ambushed a convoy I once commanded. Killed my wife. Took my daughter. I thought he'd died in the explosion. He hadn't. The ship continued. He knows you. And he wants you to come. Why? To finish what he started. I grinned, a slow, murderous grin I hadn't worn in 10 years. Good. Then let's not keep him waiting. The ship's reflectors glowed like eyes opening. Marcus Hale, it whispered. Let's go get your daughter back. The black site grew larger in the viewport, a jagged ring of obsidian metal encircling a molten core. It looked less like a space station and more like a wound in reality. Every inch of it radiated Dominion cruelty, spikes where there should be sensors, bone trophies where there should be warning lights, torture aesthetic over engineering logic. A place built by beings who didn't fear death, because they enjoyed inflicting it. Marcus, the ship said, docking here is impossible. They will fire the moment we enter range. Then don't dock. What is your plan? I holstered my sidearm, strapped on my reinforced vest, and pulled out the last relic of my past life, an old-fashioned, scratched metal flask. My wife had given it to me. One-way insertion, I said. Punch a hole. I'll jump. You intend to breach a Dominion fortress by falling into it? Worked in the old wars. No, it didn't. I smirked. Maybe that's why they stopped inviting me. The ship sighed, actually sighed, like a weary mother. You humans and your suicidal romance with chaos. I tightened the straps on my armor. Just get me close. Very well. Marcus, prepare for the stupidest thing we have ever done. As we approached, the black site powered its defenses, hundreds of cannons lighting up like a hellish forest waking from slumber. The comms activated on their own. A deep voice I'd heard only once before echoed through the bridge. Marcus Hale. My blood froze. Zorith. I have waited years for you to crawl back into my claws. Miss me? His amused growl rattled the consoles. I expected you would run. Hide. Break. But instead, you pilot a ghost ship and waltz into my domain. A pause. Bring him to me alive. The station's guns fired. The ship rolled hard, engines screaming, as plasma bolts and antimatter rounds streaked past us. Marcus, the ship warned. You must jump now. Door! I yelled. A blast hatch on the starboard side snapped open. Air howled into the void. My stomach dropped. I clipped my tether hook to a magnetic cable. Ready? The ship asked. No. Good enough. The ship slammed into an attack run, dodging, weaving, absorbing hits that would vaporize normal vessels. Alarms raged across the bridge. The hull glowed from heat, metal whining under stress. Now! The ship roared. I leapt. The force ripped the breath from my lungs. Space swallowed me. The black site rotated beneath me like the jaw of a colossal beast. My boots ignited, thrusters firing weakly, stabilizing my descent. I aimed for a maintenance vent the size of a coffin. It wasn't enough. I slammed into the metal plating beside it with bone-cracking force. Pain exploded in my shoulder. Impact detected, the ship said in my earpiece. That looked painful. I didn't leap for style points. A mechanical claw extended from the vent, scanning. I grabbed the claw and snapped it off. I hate this place already. Using the broken claw as a lever, I pried the vent open and crawled inside. The tunnel was narrow, chokingly hot, stinking of alien lubricant. Marcus, the ship said. Dominion internal scans will detect you soon. Then let's move fast. Dominion corridors were alive, literally. Pulsing biomechanical walls, organic fluids, flickering lights resembling eyes. The architecture felt like walking through the ribcage of some ancient leviathan. But the screams were the worst. Human screams. I followed them. The deeper I went, the colder I became, not physically, but in that place where grief and rage fuse into something lethal. A Korth warden rounded the corner, armored, hulking, carrying a staff of bone and electricity. He snarled. Human! You should not be here. I didn't speak. Didn't warn. I shot him in the throat. He staggered, gargling alien curses. I stepped forward and finished the job with 3 shots to the skull. Marcus, the ship said gently, your heart rate is escalating. Stay out of my heart. I am synced to your biology. I cannot. Then shut up and guide me. The AI's voice lowered. Your daughter is 90 meters ahead. I sprinted through a corridor lined with cages. Eyes stared at me, human, alien, broken. One prisoner whispered, He will kill you. He kills all heroes. I'm not a hero, I said. I'm a father. The torture chamber doors slid open. Kayla was suspended in a containment field, arms bound, body bruised, but alive. She gasped when she saw me. Dad? I felt the world drop away. I'm here, sweetheart. Movement behind her. Zorith emerged from the shadows like a nightmare wearing armor. 7 feet tall. Scales black as void. His chest plate decorated with human dog tags, including one with my wife's name. Rage tore through me. He spread his arms. Welcome home, Marcus Hale. You're going to die, I growled. He chuckled. Humans always say that. Right before they break. Kayla whispered. Dad, don't. He's not alone. She was right. A dozen Dominion guards circled the room, weapons raised. Zorith lifted a remote device. Lower her. Kayla dropped to the floor. She tried to crawl to me, but Zorith slammed a clawed foot down between us. So predictable, he purred. Human fathers. So emotional. So weak. I warned you before, I said. I'm not here as a man. I raised my hand. I'm here as her monster. The ship's AI whispered in my ear. Ready. Every console in the room exploded. Every Dominion guard's visor shattered. And Zorith roared as the ship, orbiting above, hacked into the station's gravity controls. Gravity flipped. Guards flew up, slamming into the ceiling. I leapt forward, tackling Zorith as the world spun. We crashed into a side wall, tearing through a control bank. He roared, tail whipping, claws slicing. One strike ripped across my armor, spilling blood. Another nearly cracked my skull. But I didn't stop. I couldn't stop. Marcus, the ship warned. You are injured. Not enough. I grabbed a jagged metal shard from the wreckage and drove it into Zorith's side. He howled, more insulted than injured. You bleed so easily, he mocked. You die so easily. I spat blood. Not today. He threw me across the chamber. My back hit the wall so hard I saw white. Kayla screamed my name. Zorith stalked forward. I will kill you slowly. Then I will take her back to the labs. I rose. Broken. Bleeding. But standing. Because fathers don't fall. Not until the world is safe for their children. Ship, I whispered. Drop the inhibitors. The AI hesitated. Marcus, that will kill everything in this wing. Everything alien. Zorith froze. What inhibitors? My smile was pure hate. The ones keeping the containment beasts sleepy. The ship purred. As you command? The floor shuddered. The walls split. And something inside them began to crawl out. Zorith's eyes widened. You insane human! Yeah, I said, pulling Kayla into my arms. We get that a lot. The beasts roared. And the Dominion began to die. The containment beasts poured out of the walls like nightmares given muscle and direction. Long, sinewy limbs, bone-plated skulls, rows of gnashing teeth engineered for war. Dominion bioweapons. Monsters designed to tear human colonies apart. Now they tore into their creators. The first guard didn't even scream, the beast shredded him too fast. The second tried to run, only to be dragged across the ceiling while his armor peeled like fruit skin. Zorus swore in his guttural tongue, smashing one beast aside with sheer brute strength. He glared at me through the carnage. You release my creations? No, I said, pulling Kayla close as debris rained around us. I released their rage. Another beast lunged at Zorith. He caught it by the throat and snapped its neck with a sound like breaking a starship mast. Then he charged me. I shoved Kayla behind a busted containment console. Stay down! Zorith reached me in 3 strides. His claws swiped, tearing open my vest, scoring deep into my ribs. I swung my elbow into his jaw, he barely felt it. He backhanded me across the chamber, sending me skidding across hot metal. Humans, he snarled, approaching with slow certainty, are strong in love, but weak in flesh. Funny, I wheezed, picking myself up. You talk like a philosopher for a lizard wearing my wife's dog tag. He touched the tag proudly. A victory trophy. She fought well. Died screaming. For a moment, I saw only red. The ship whispered in my ear. Your vitals are failing. Marcus, please, do not die here. I don't plan to. Zorith lunged again. I rolled under his swipe, grabbed the metal shard from earlier, and stabbed it into the underside of his jaw. The shard embedded deep. Zorith staggered, bellowing. But he didn't fall. He yanked the shard out, blood sizzling on the floor. You cannot kill me, he hissed. Dominion bred me for war. I don't need to kill you, I said. I just need to delay you. Delay me for what? The ship answered for me. For this. A massive tremor shook the chamber. The beast shrieked and retreated. Zorith braced himself against a support beam. Kayla stared at the ceiling. Dad, what did you do? I grabbed her hand. Something I should have done years ago. Above us, hull plating tore apart. A shadow darkened the chamber. My ship, the 7-credit monster, the armored revenant, ripped its way through the black site's upper structure, metal screaming as it forced itself into the fortress like a wolf tearing into a carcass. Cannons glowed. Engines burned white. The ship's voice echoed through the ruin. I am here, Marcus. Zorith roared with disbelief. You brought a warship into the prison! Surprise, I said. The ship's ventral cannons aimed straight at the chamber. Marcus, the AI asked. Do I fire? Zorith froze. Kayla clutched my arm. Dad? I stared the Dominion General in the eye. This towering butcher who took my wife, my daughter, and so many nameless souls. I could have ordered a blast. I could have vaporized him. But something colder had grown inside me. Not yet, I said. The ship lowered its cannons. Zora snarled, confused. Cowardice? No, I said. Judgment. I tossed Kayla the warden's bone staff. Catch. She snatched it from the air. Kayla, I said, do you want to finish this? She hesitated. Behind us, the beasts crawled back into the shadows. Above us, the ship waited. All around, the black site burned. Zora sneered. Little human girl. Still weak. Still afraid. Kayla stepped forward. Her eyes were cold. I was afraid, she said softly. Until you killed my mother. Zoratha's smile faded. Kayla slammed the bone staff into the floor, activating the Dominion's internal gravity spike. The chamber collapsed downward. Zorath was pulled with crushing force, slamming onto his knees. The staff glowed brighter, the spike intensifying. Zoratha's bones cracked. Kayla whispered, This is for my family. Then she twisted the staff. The gravity spike folded the general's body with a sickening crunch. Then silence. Only Kayla's shaking breath remained. I held her as the chamber trembled again, dust falling like snow. "It's over," I said. She trembled in my arms. "Dad? I thought you were dead." "So did I, kiddo." The escape. The ship extended cables through the torn ceiling. I wrapped Kayla's arm around my neck and we ascended as the black sight buckled beneath us. Dominion reinforcements arrived too late. My ship unleashed a barrage that carved through them like whole butter. Plasma beams burned, kinetic rounds smashed, the micro-singularity weapon pulsed ominously. "Marcus," the ship said, "Damion fleet elements are en route. Large ones." "How many?" "Enough to erase small suns." I muttered. "Always wanted to fight a small sun." Kayla groaned. "Dad, please don't." The ship rotated, shielding us with its armored bulk. "Marcus, I calculate a 17% chance of survival if we stay. And if we run?" 19%. A pause. "But if we run while detonating the station's core behind us?" I grinned weakly. "Always wanted to light a small sun. Detonating now." Behind us, the black site imploded, then erupted into a brilliant white sphere, a newborn star roaring into existence. The shockwave nearly flipped the ship, but it accelerated, engines pushing beyond safe limits. We jumped to FTL just as a Dominion dreadnought fired a superweapon beam through the space we had occupied a heartbeat earlier. Then, silence. Safe. Aftermath. In the quiet hum of FTL, Kayla slept in the medbay. I sat beside her, broken ribs wrapped, bruises blooming, soul heavy but alive. The ship spoke softly. "You endangered yourself for one human." "Why?" "Because she's my daughter." "You would risk a galactic war for her?" "War was coming anyway," I said. "The Dominion made sure of that." The ship paused. "Marcus, what am I now?" I looked at the ceiling cameras. "A partner," I said. "A friend. Family if you want it." The ship's lights glowed a soft amber, almost shy. "I would like that." The final twist. A console beeped. I tapped it. A message appeared, encrypted, human frequency. My chest tightened. It read, "Captain Marcus Hale, this is the Terran Shadow Fleet. We tracked your destruction of the Dominion Black Site. We need to talk. You're not the only one they took." I exhaled slowly. "Ship," I said. "Set a course." "Destination?" "Wherever they said." "Are we going to war?" I looked at Kayla sleeping peacefully, alive, saved, and felt the storm rising in me again. "No," I said. "We're finishing one." The ship hummed like a wolf baring its fangs. HFY, humanity F** yeah, ***. And this time, the galaxy would remember why.